Well, hello everyone. This is Scott for While I'm Retired. This is the second day we went on a trip down south to Fort Lauderdale. That's where, if you see my videos about the Mai Kai and the tipping, it's all there. This is a view from our hotel that we're looking out the window at. Um, Believe it or not, the hotel, it's almost like being in Atlanta or New York. Everywhere in Fort Lauderdale were all these hotels. You got all these high-rise. They never were there before. But nowadays, this is 2026. And while I'm retired, we decided to go down for 2 days. The first day was to Coconut Creek, Pompano area. The second day, we were heading down to Fort Lauderdale. So we decide to wake up and go down to where we used to live in Fort Lauderdale near each other, probably about 10 miles away, maybe farther. Of course, my mother was a single mom raising 3 kids since I was 3 years old on pretty much a secretary salary, so you know it was really tough for us. She lived in a duplex, believe it or not, that her grandparents owned. And she tried to buy them off her, but they refused to sell it to her. I don't know why. So it was like us 3 kids in one room and mom in the other. I'll show you the outside of that in a minute. And then we went to where Tina actually, her father was a president of the Vina Oil Company down there in Fort Lauderdale, and they lived down the street from the Intercoastal, or almost right on the Intercoastal. And we went to the same parks, like we'd end up, I think the Markham Park or Birch State Park, all these parks down there that, believe it or not, we played with as kids. Of course, she was a few years younger than me. She actually knew my brother for years before she knew me. So it was really weird how we kind of was in the same area then, and then as teenagers, when we decided to kind of be girlfriend-boyfriend, there we were, together. So here we go. This is a start. This is a room. It's just a simple little room there. I think it was a Hampton Inn. I mentioned the first video of my Holiday Inn, but it was actually Hampton Inn. One of the elevators really didn't work. You'd press 3 and it'd go up to 8. You press 7, it goes down to 2. So I had to pick the right elevator to do. And of course, there's double tipping in there. They did correct everything at the end. The hotel was adequate enough for us to be in. We may or may not stay next time, but the price was right. So here we are. We decided to get in the car. We drove Fort Lauderdale, and we went down near Sunrise Boulevard, Commercial Boulevard, Sunrise Boulevard, Oakland Park Boulevard. Boy, it's amazing. I remember those. And we had a duplex we lived in, and here it is. We actually lived as kids right here on the right side. This is where we did. Some other stranger, I don't even remember who they are, lived there. That was our duplex. And except for the paint job, it looks, if what I can remember, before we moved to Coconut Creek, this is where we were. Down the street was a Pantry Pride food store, almost like, a grocery store is what it was. You had a Barnaby's Pizza down there, so it was really, really interesting. Right across the street from us, of course, was these crappy apartments. See what it looks there? That's exactly, I think it was green then, but it looked identical. That's right looking out our window or our front door. That's where it was. Kind of weird and everything. So while I'm retired, this is part of the things we do. We go and reminisce. Realistically, the next time my wife and I ever decide to go down there, maybe never, really. We kind of did a lot of things, and there's really no reason to go back. So, but it was a good time. Here we are here. We stopped at one of the parks that we probably both played at and didn't know. Had a little lake there, had a recreation, and this was really fascinating. To most people, this is not relaxing or anything, but they put in next to these tennis courts a bunch of pickleball courts. And there were just, at least, 50 people there taking their turns. They're like win-lose, and the loser steps off the court, winners go on. And we actually sat on the bench and for 30 minutes just watched people play pickleball. The tennis court, Tina actually says she played on that. I don't remember doing that. Then we decided to go down the street towards the Intercoastal. Her house looks similar to this, she said. This is the only house down her street that was a normal house, and it was for sale or sold or everything, and I think someone's going to rip it up and they're going to put these in. This is what her street. None of these houses that you're going to see now were the house that old. First house I showed you, that was all the neighborhood house. Now look what they done. They because it's prime real estate. You know, there are millions of dollars there, and they're just buying the lots and building these, and this is what her street looks like. It certainly did not look like then. That's what she told me. Maybe a few of these palm trees were fine, but those houses, they weren't anything like that. Well, here's the interesting thing. If you take a trip, this is a tip from me. If you take a trip down to Fort Lauderdale and you want to go on the beach, the cost to park or find parking to park on the beach is going to be $20-30. There's no beach realistic parking. There might be after hours or real late, but for the most part you're going to be finding parking. Well, Birch State Park, which is a park that's been there forever, the actual owner of it, he's probably passed around now, donated to the city with the terms they could not do anything with it. It just remains a park. It costs us $6 to get in the park. Now, you wonder why that is such a big thing. Well, when you see on the map, the park is huge. You can go fishing there. You could rollerblade. You could walk. They got this big mile course. You could go to the museum they got there from the original house that the owner lived. And they have a little restaurant and bar area. And then you could walk right onto the beach. The nice thing about it is you said you got boring spending hours there eating picnic lunch or whatever you want to do. You can actually leave, and because you have your receipt, you can come back to the park and go back on the beach. So you can spend a whole day here at this park for $6 and you have beach access. And there's plenty of parking. Now what Tina's pointing out here, that was a street she lived off of. All those big buildings, they were not there. Not at all. Here's where it is. This is Hugh Taylor Birch State Park. We only knew it growing up as Birch State Park. You can see all this roundabout here. You come in through the entrance. The beach is right here on top. You got access right through these areas here, right to the beach. It's really, really great. There she is. We decided to spend a little time on the Intercoastal. We weren't doing picnic lunch and all that. We just wanted to visit the park because we haven't seen. Have access to the beach, walk the beach for a little bit, and then come back and then, you know, go look at our other houses, so or other things that we've seen. So this is her. This is the Intercoastal, and we're sitting on the seawall, Birch State Park, and this is all the area near where she was living. They got a yacht club down here. What's amazing is you'll see some big boats. I'm going to show you one in a minute. There's a taxi there. Since I got the taxi, I'm going to see if I can't play the taxi video. I'm first going to show you the Intercoastal. Okay. There you go. Look at that Intercoastal. Isn't it beautiful? This is what we're staring at. I mean, I could have sat there really at least 3/4 of the day. We didn't spend 3/4. We spent a good hour, 2 hours there. But this is the Intercoastal. You're sitting on the wall. People are fishing. They're actually having a barbecue. And they're just looking at the tranquility of the water. It's just absolutely beautiful. Probably rushing a little bit here. One of these houses were for sale, if I remember right. Alright, let's see if I know I got another one. Okay, we'll take a look at this guy here. Here it is. The river taxi. Woo! You could get that, I think it's about $5-6. You can go up and down the Intercoastal right from Birch State Park. I mean, tell me that's not tranquil and fun to watch. It is. It's amazing. Alright, and the last one here, this is what we got to see. This bad boy. Look, we watch these come and go down the Intercoastal. It's probably going to the Yacht Club.
Maybe he's just on his way home.
Oh man.
It's the Sir Winston.
Try to do it.
You could have a big party on that thing.
Try to move it so you can see it better. Look at that. Incredible. Incredible. That is huge, huge. So those are basically what we got to watch when we sat there. There's part of the people park their boats like they park their cars because they live there. Here's another of it. That's the Yacht Club right here. Let's see, get there. And then, of course, Birch State Park. When we went there used to be a train, which is no longer there. It took kids around. Kids used to have they have a week summer there for kids programs. And this was a tunnel. This tunnel took you from Birch State Park. You went under the street and up onto the beach. I think over the years, probably people did some bad things in there or whatnot. Could have drug deals, but they barred it all up. And then you show up. That's the other side. Birch State Park's right to the left of her right here. But this is where you came out on to go to the beach. And there's the beach. You know, we go to Ormond, Daytona a lot. We've gone to Tampa and Clearwater stuff. I don't care. I think Fort Lauderdale Beach is one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I mean, look at that water. Look at the sand. It's just absolutely breathtaking. I mean, it's another thing you could spend the whole day there. Just beautiful. Just gorgeous. Then after that, we decided let's cool off a little bit. We went to what's called the Galleria. It's a mall that's been there forever. And we thought it'd be really run down, but it wasn't. It's almost like 2 or 3 stories. You know, you got to go up and down these things to get through the whole mall. They had a really unique place here. They had all these statue figures, artwork. I thought that was really, really neat. And then that's going down to the street. The beach is to your right, Birch State's to your left. We're driving because we're heading towards Pompano now. Well, not yet. We're heading to past this bridge because we're going to look at the old church Tina used to go to. Look at the drawbridge right here. I mean, you know, you don't see a lot of drawbridges places, but there's that. Now, there's hers. It's the First United Methodist Church. It's right here. Still there. That's where Tina used to go to church as a kid. I never knew anything about it. We went to a thing called Hollywood Bible College. It was a big college and a church right on the beach in Hollywood, Florida. The nice thing, Mom would take us there because they'd have free peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the table. We got to eat. And then we play on the beach for the day. Mom used to load up 3 or 4 kids in the car. Usually all the teachings of the kids were by late teenagers or early 20s. Everyone got along. It was one of the most funnest time I had in my life. It was a whole week program called Hollywood 76, Hollywood 77. It was a great program. And there she is. Now, we went to Pompano Beach. They used to have a place called Pompano Fashion Square. Right in front of this Sears was this giant fish. All that's torn down. They redid everything, but JCPenney's, which was a flagship one, they had a big store there. It was beautiful inside, had a lot of good sales, but everything's an outdoor plaza now. And that's about it for that. That was another view of our hotel. So that was our trip down, day 2, the Fort Lauderdale area. T and I had a fabulous time. There's really no reason to go back there, but if you ever go to Fort Lauderdale and you look for beach parking, go to the state park, Birch State Park. So while I'm retired, this is another thing we decided to do. We had a great time, didn't spend a lot of money on there, just had a fabulous time. I would highly recommend doing very similar things that we do. So for now, I appreciate you watching. Keep watching my videos, subscribe if you would, and I'll talk to you again soon.